Hi, I'm Prayeen Singh. Currently, I live in San Francisco. I came to United States in 2002 to study film. Right now, I'm working in Microsoft as a systems engineer, and as a hobby, I also do music videos, and yeah, I enjoy the life over here. And thank you, Anuz and Dipika, for giving me opportunity to share something about me in your podcast.
So Prayeen, you said you came to the US in 2002 and right now your job is as a site reliability engineer. What do you exactly do in this position?
So the site reliability engineer is nothing like we use the services these days, like when you use Facebook or anything, like the server is running the services. So we need to make sure it works all the time. So our job is like, if there is a problem, we need to figure out what happened, what is the root cause of the issue. That is one of the main function we do.
So Prayeen, when you came to America in 2002 for the first time, did you always want to enroll yourself in this career?
So I came here to study actually film, but my brother gave me suggestion, right? Film field is really hard. It's very competitive. So he gave me suggestion. You can make a career as a computer engineer, and later when you want, you can always study it. So actually that was a good suggestion from my brother, and that's what I'm doing today. So as a career, I'm a computer site reliability engineer, but I'm also continuing my passion. Like I make music. I also make music videos. So it's fun.
So Prayeen, you just mentioned your brother inspired you to get into this profession which you are right now. So was it hard to let go your profession in Nepal, which was music?
Because I have interest in both computer and also in the music and video, it was not that hard. And since I have benefit of having interest in computer is these days we have to use computer to like as a tool, right, to make music, to make videos. So you have to have the artistic ability as well as, but you need a computer skills. So actually it helped me, like one thing helped into another. So since I have interest in both, it was not that hard for me.
If you have to take us back to those days in your first year in the US, let's say you decided you wanted to get into the computer engineering. So how did you begin your academic journey in computer engineering in the US?
I actually didn't spend much time rather than taking classes, because when I was in 10th grade in Nepal, that was in 1998. All my friends used to go outside in the lunchtime. I used to be in the class and just study C programming, computer programming. So I was really interested since I was a kid. So I already know how to do programming. So it was not that hard. I didn't actually spend a lot of time. So I just have to do the assignment, right? That's all. Since I already had that skill and I was interested.
And what helped you get a break in the Microsoft?
Credit goes to my friend. I had a really good friend since I was in Nepal. Actually, we started to learn computer together. So luckily he was already in the Microsoft, so he helped me to get into Microsoft. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So, in our podcast, we always talk about building a network so that you can get a foot in the right place. And this is how networking helped you to get into Microsoft, right?
Yeah, and also another reason I came to California is because he was here in California. So that's another reason. So, yeah. And currently he also works in Microsoft. I also work in Microsoft, yes.
And Prayeen, how does it feel to be working in such a big organization? Because many of us have a dream of working in Microsoft, working in Apple, working in Facebook, and now you're working in Microsoft. How does that feel?
It was like a dream, but again, when we started the career in Microsoft, it was not like I was hired as a site reliability engineer in Microsoft. The first day in Microsoft was like make setting the rack for the servers, running the cables, and we have a different length cable for the networking cable. I remember the first job was sorting the cables by their length. So it was not the real computer job, but since we have a passion, we just keep on continuing there, and slowly we build a network inside, and that's how we get into the Microsoft. Yeah, in another word, my friend helped me get into the Microsoft as a data center technician. So I was not an engineer at that time. So our basic job was more of the physical job, racking the servers, running the cables in the data centers. It was a very happy moment for me, because even we are doing a physical work, we are working inside the Microsoft. Actually, that was the data center for the Hotmail email service. So where physically the email used to get stored for all the people in the world.
So Prayeen, that is so interesting. I've heard so many friends of mine telling me, they are always waiting for the right job. For example, suppose I am an engineer, so my friend would say to me that I'm waiting for a job of engineering, and they would wait for 2 years, 3 years. Sometimes it takes them 5 years. But in your case, you just needed a break in Microsoft, which wasn't like computer engineer, but you just went there as that job you just mentioned, right?
Yes.
So that is really interesting. Can you explain us more?
Yeah, because it's also my passion, right? Let's say I didn't have a passion with computer, I'm sure I would have left that place, because there was also other coworker who got hired with us. They left the job within a week, because they said it's not a computer job. It's just sorting the cables, running the cables, doing racking the servers. But I have the passion, really very deep passion in computer science. So that's why I had a hope, not just a hope, because I was already inside the Microsoft, right? So that's why I had that passion to continue it.
I'm very eager to know what kind of plan did you have in your head as to how you would gradually grow up within the company.
I never make a plan. I never make a longer plan. I never thought I would come to US. I never thought I will work for Microsoft. It just keep on happening, because I have the passion, right? I'm sure I have the passion for computer and music. So every day, no matter what, I used to spend some time playing with computers. That's what I think. That's only my plan. But everything in what went on happening was I would say it just happened.
So, and Prayeen, how did you grow yourself inside the company? Because you started, making the cables, making the networks, and now you are, fast forward 15 years, now you are site reliability engineer. So, tell our audience, how did you progress yourself inside the company?
If you work hard inside the company, right? Your manager will certainly give you raise, you'll get promoted, right? That's how slowly I went and I made progress inside. It's all interest, I would say.
Did you face any kind of challenges in the work, like in terms of working culture? It could be let's say communication problem or language problem. Certainly,
because my English is not that good, I know. So, and also when I come to California, here we have a different accent. We learned British English in Nepal, so certainly when I came here, even not only at work, also outside, it's hard to understand the English over here, and also the culture. And I have a lot of I really had I don't remember but I certainly had the problem, communication problem inside the job. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And how did you overcome it?
Not making the same mistake again, second time. Be really careful. Do your homework. So be when people are speaking, try to listen carefully and not try to don't try to do many things, multiple things at one time.
What do you mean when you say not trying to do multiple things at one time?
I mean not multitasking.
Okay.
So let's say you have 4 jobs, right? No, so rather than working at all the 4 jobs at same time, I mean, you just prioritize the job which is most important, right? Or if they are all the same important, you try to do the job which is easier, and after that is done, then you switch to the other one. But you only focus at one job and finish and move to the another. That's what I mean, not multitasking.
Okay, so that brings me to the point that you are also a singer, and now, right now you are continuing your passion for music as well as you're continuing your profession. Why don't you talk about that? How do you do that?
Because I know computer, and I figured out there is also a way to record your sound in the computer. So when I knew that, I was a very psyched kind of guy. I just went inside the room and record my own voice and listen, and that's how I became singer, And also I started arranging music using the computer, because I didn't have money to buy expensive synthesizers. So that's how I get into the music, because of the love with the computers. And other reason was my own brother, Anuz Singh, was already in music. He's a flute player, a renowned flute player of Nepal. That was another reason I have some interest in music since my childhood, but because of computer, I get more. It was easier for me to make a music.
So, Prayeen, now we have come to the end of the podcast. Is there any advice you want to give out to newly arriving immigrants to pursue the career in America?
I would say it's always good to study the things you are really passionate. If you don't have if you don't have a concrete interest in one field, right, then it's always good to choose the path which is easier. It will be easier for you to make your career. For example, in today's day, it's always good to study computer science, because it's very easy to find a job, but if you really don't like computer, then it's a different story.
For students who are coming with some sort of computer engineering background, let's say an undergrad with computer background in their home country, what would be the next step for them to do in the US?
If they have already done the bachelor's in computer science in Nepal, it's good to do master's here, because master's program is only 1.5 year longer. So I would suggest to do a master's in computer science.
Okay.
And from there you can do internship, and then you can always get hired.
If anybody wants to reach out to you for any career advice, are you comfortable sharing your email address?
Prayeen@hotmail.com, Prayeen@hotmail.com.
So if you are emailing Prayeen, make sure you mention at the end of the day in the subject title, so that Prayeen knows where these emails are coming from.
Yes, and on that note, Prayeen, we would like to thank you so much for sparing us your valuable time, and thank you so much for sharing your personal experience. It really means a lot to us.
Thank you, Dipika and Anuz.
Thank you. And so that's the end of this episode of our podcast. So make sure you subscribe to our channel podcast at the end of the day on YouTube, on iTunes, on Spotify, anywhere you find our podcast. And make sure you log into our website podcastattheendoftheday.com.
So we will catch you next week. Until then,
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey guys, a quick note. If you have a personal story that you think might be helpful to the newly arriving immigrants in the US, please contact us. We would love to feature you in our podcast. Go to our website podcastатtheendoftheday.com and write to us by going to the feedback section.
And by the way, if you love this podcast, you can support us with a small donation. Your help will enable us to continue producing more episodes. The link to support our podcast is in the description below.